Welcome to Voice from the Real World and to our final video in this series, What is Creation? We're going to look at a couple more sections from the course. This time text chapter 11, section 2 and verse 6. You will never rest, until you know your function and fulfill it. For only in this can your will and your Father's will be wholly joined. Your function in heaven is creation. That is the Father's will. Love is creation. The Father is love. Love is creation. Love is extending, increasing, and extending and integrating back into the oneness of the Son, of the one creation of the Father. To have Him is to be like Him, and He has given Himself to you. You who have God must be as God, for His function became yours with His gift. Invite this knowledge back into your mind, and let nothing that obscures it enter. The guest whom God sent you, the Holy Spirit, in your mind, will teach you how to do this. We've been talking about how He's teaching us to do that. If you but recognize the little spark and are willing to let it grow, remember the little spark, your willingness need not be perfect because His is. If you will merely offer Him a little place, He will lighten it so much that you will gladly let it be increased, and by this increase you will begin to remember creation. Forget the guilty son, forget the guilty body, begin to see even the spark. I don't care, one of the greatest images, one of the greatest symbols of the ego is Adolf Hitler. Why is this guy on my TV every day? He ought to have his own TV channel. Just today they're talking about some anatomical parts that he had wrong with him. Why are we talking about this guy's genitals in 2016? Because he's a symbol of evil, but he's also a symbol of the ego. And just like any other symbol, is a great teacher the Holy Spirit can use. Alright? Do I see Adolf Hitler anymore? No, I see the Great Ray. That was that mind. So start with a spark. If you can only see him as a spark right now, let it be a spark, because once you see the spark, it will grow into a great ray. The great rays come together into the one sun, the golden light that we discussed in previous videos. Your willingness need not be perfect because His is. If you will merely offer Him a little place, He will lighten it so much that you will gladly let it be increased, and by this increase you will begin to remember creation. Text chapter 11, section 1, verse 6. God has given you a place in His mind that is yours forever, yet you can keep it only by giving it, as it was given you. Could you be alone there when it was given you because God did not will to be alone? God's mind cannot be lessened. It can only be increased, for everything He creates has the function of creating. Love does not limit, and what it creates is not limited. To give without limit is God's will for you, because only this can bring you the joy that is His, the joy of creation, and that He wills to share with you. Your love is as boundless as His, because it is His. Alright, we're going to look at two more sections from the course. And a lot of people struggle with the will. What is my will? Why couldn't this have been my will? If I have free will and God creates with free will, then why can't I just do whatever I want to do? And this just doesn't seem to make sense to me, that if we did this, then I should be able to do it because I'm the Son and it's my will and I have free will. Okay, so we're going to discuss that, and I'm going to answer that for you in the next 5 or 6 minutes. Be patient. 5 or 6 minutes to understand your will. Alright, we're going to look at text chapter 30, section 2, verse 1. 32, 1. Do you not understand that to oppose the Holy Spirit is to fight yourself? He tells you, but your will. He speaks for you. In His divinity is but your own, and all He knows is but your knowledge, saved for you that you may do your will through Him. God asks you do your will. He joins with you. He did not set His kingdom up alone, and heaven itself but represents your will, where everything created is for you. No spark of life but was created with your glad consent. Okay, that's so key, and we're going to come back to it in a minute. But think about, even in this thought of death, people make wills for their death. Okay, But they do it, and it's only honored by a court, only honored by a legal system, if it was done while the person was in their right mind. Now, if in some cases when a person has Alzheimer's as a diagnosis, they immediately give a power of attorney to someone else who will know their will and not allow that will to be changed even by themselves, because they will be outside of their right mind. They will be outside of their will. That is a power of attorney. But what we just read, the Holy Spirit has become our power of attorney. We have free will. And I want to read this sentence again. No spark of life but was created with your glad consent, as you would have it be. When you were created, the Father says, will you be my son? Will you be what I am? And in your right mind, in the always, you said, I will. That was your free will. Okay, the reason we hate change, the Course says, is because there is no change in heaven. Why is there no change in heaven, in the heavenly thought? Because there's no time in the heavenly thought to change. It's always. So there's no way to change it. Your will. Now, did we have a thought against that? Yes. Was it corrected? Right, immediately. By who? My power of attorney corrected it. He holds my will for me. He holds your will for you until you return to your will, which is the Father's will. What is His will? Creation. Your glad consent as you would have it be. The heavenly thought is abstract, as you would have it be as a son. How are you going to experience this thought of God, this creation of God, your creation? Not one thought that God has ever had but waited for your blessing to be born. Remember, we've talked about the mind is an activating agent of spirit. It is an activating agent of the thought of God. Now, we activate thoughts of God. We do it together in the oneness of God. But we do it with our blessing. It's my choice. It's my will for my creation. And with my blessing, with my glad consent. That is your will. Now the last thing we're going to look at is lesson 329. We're still looking at the will. Your free will. I have already chosen what you will. You have already chosen what the Father wills. Father, I thought I wandered from your will, defied it, broke its laws, and interposed a second will more powerful than yours. Yet what I am in truth is but your will, extended and extending. This am I, and this will never change. As you are one, so am I one with you. And this I chose in my creation. I chose in my creation. Where my will became forever one with yours. That choice was made for all eternity. It cannot change and be in opposition to itself. Father, my will is yours, and I am safe, untroubled, and serene in endless joy, because it is your will that it be so. Today, we will accept our union with each other and our source. We have no will apart from His, and all of us are one because His will is shared by all of us. Through it, we recognize that we are one. Through it, we find our way at last to God. We had a wish to leave our will and think that we could have another will. We wanted to play games. We wanted to lose our mind. And fortunately, Father created the Holy Spirit as our power of attorney to hold our will for us while we play our game of death, while we play our game of guilt, while we play our game of sin. And we thank God so much for bringing us the path of salvation, to put the toys away, to stop playing the game and return to our will. We no longer need to fear our will because we know exactly what it is. It is love. And love casts out all fear. So I hope you've enjoyed this series. I've learned a lot as I've taught it. And I am so glad that you are a creator, my co-creator with God. Thanks for watching.
For more information about Voice from the Real World, please feel free to visit our website at www.voicefromtherealworld.org or send us an email at voicefromtherealworld@yahoo.com. Thank you for watching.